from me, oh baby, baby.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Studio Wesley Live, our weekly hangout for connection and community. I'm Derrick Scott III, and I'm here with our great, just a tad smaller, but incredibly awesome panel tonight, Grace and Allison. So to get us all in the space, gonna just ask all of you, both of you, what'd you do yesterday? That's what I want to know. Let's just get started with what you do yesterday, Grace. What'd you do?
You're gonna ask both of us. It's a full sentence.
All of us, yes.
It's funny you ask, actually, because yesterday I went to the gym for the first time in a while. I feel so good. My therapist would be proud of me because we're trying to have me feel my body instead of just having every single thing ever in the space between my ears. But hot take, I guess, I love the rowing machine. And people don't like it.
I just started using the rowing machine. Yeah, I get it.
People hate the rowing machine, but I love it. But I feel great. I did half an hour on the treadmill, and I had my Kendrick Lamar strut list. So it the BPMs of the song increase as you increase the strut. It was so good. And then I had a really good workout playlist, and I was rowing, and I stretched, and I did some elevated squat situation. I don't want to jinx things, but 2026 feels like the year of Grace being in the gym. We'll see.
I'm here for Grace in the gym. I'm here for it.
And before we move on, can I give the crowds my can open ASMR for the night? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they would all appreciate it. Yes. That was really good.
Was that good?
That was really good. Almost sound effect like did that really happen like that? Yeah. Grace, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here. Allison, what'd you do yesterday?
I had a whole day yesterday. It was a good day. So so my fiance Jess and I were going to do a date night at home, but instead it kind of ended up being kind of a whole date day. So we went to Trader Joe's to get stuff for dinner, and then the University of Miami, because I'm in Miami right now. The University of Miami was doing a free art festival thing, so we went there and walked around that for a while. And we also the University of Miami is going to the national championships tomorrow for people who are into football. And my dad's a big fan. So we went to the store there and got him one of their national championship shirts. And then we came home and we had we did Legos and made homemade pizza and did like a whole date night, and it was very cute and fun. We made pizzas in the shape of a heart and did 2 Lego sets. It was fantastic. So it was a good day.
I'm gonna leave it at that. Sounds really great, Allison, because I could say so much more.
It was so cute. That sounds so cute, Allison.
Yeah, that's not what I was gonna say, but we'll just move it along because we've got a show tonight. And it's gonna be a good one. So I would just let you know that I went to a wedding last night, and the wedding that I went to was for one Sarah Taylor and Rye Crump, which Sarah Taylor was like the person who, I mean, to say that she created Studio Wesley would not be true. It just wouldn't be like the whole truth, but it's more true than not true that Sarah created Studio Wesley. So congratulations, Sarah and Rye. If y'all see this, I know that y'all are not watching this right now because y'all got married yesterday, but when you watch this later, just know that we're saying congratulations to both of you, particularly you, Sarah, since you essentially created Studio Wesley. All right, so let's go to highlights of the week. Let's go. Highlight of the week is where we share something from our neighborhoods or from the nation, something that we want the Studio Wesley universe to know about. So, Allison, I'm going to ask you to go first. Please share your highlight for this week.
Yeah, I am. So my highlight's kind of similar to last week because I talked about green sea turtles not being on the endangered list anymore. And this week I saw that giant pandas have also come off the endangered list. So giant pandas are back 2 weeks in a row. I'm talking about animals and I love that for myself. But honestly, I saw it on the same account I was talking about last week. That it's like the way that the conservation efforts have been going, they have increased. They're definitely not out of the woods. Like they're still vulnerable. And there's been like a lot of different like worldwide fund for nature things that have kind of helped with it. So, but they're not endangered anymore. So another short and sweet, but another animal's off the endangered list this week.
Not gonna lie, Allison, when you said the giant pandas are back, I got this image of a giant panda just hugging me and like just, I know that's not real because like if a giant panda saw me, they would shred me to death. But the image in my head was immediately being just like bear hugged by a giant panda. Mm-hmm. Pandas are not technically bears; they're marsupials, but still, we love to see it.
Still a bear hug.
It's a bear hug from a not bear creature. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Allison. Grace, your highlight this week.
Thank you for asking, Derrick. Yes. My highlight of the week that I know you're so excited for is about the Golden Globes that happened. Now, it needs a little bit of context. So during the Golden Globes or like during like any show, award show, there's like the red carpet and there's interview questions and everything. I have not been able to get the cast and characters of Heated Rivalry out of my mind. I haven't like fangirled like this since like In the Trenches with One Direction. So I'm very happy. I like am living my best life. I love the storylines. There's like a lot of like queer like familial support with it, so it's if you've heard about it, you might have heard a lot of different things about the story, but there's a lot of like really important and wonderful queer beauty in it. I say that to say, if you've heard about it, you might have heard that there's some particular scenes that happen in the show. That's all I'll say about the scenes. But there was an interviewer at the Golden Globes where one of the actors, Connor Story, who plays Ilya Rozanov in the show, he was with Janelle James, who is also the principal in Abbott Elementary. Connor and Janelle were being interviewed together by this guy. I don't know his name, and I don't really care because he was asking, Connor and Janelle, they're not on the same show. He was asking them about like, okay, well, what do you do? Have you seen each other's stuff? And he asked Janelle, and she was like, yeah, of course. And then she joked that she'd seen it last night, but actually that like her producer or somebody had suggested that she watched it a while back. And she watched it and she loved it. But the interviewer asked, so when you look at Connor now and you think of those scenes in Heated Rivalry, what goes through your head? Like, essentially, like, because of the tone and the way that he asked it, it was like, well, how do you, like, respect this person now that you've seen all that stuff that he does in the show? And a lot of women, a lot of people of color, a lot of women of color, like, a lot of people are used to really stupid and inappropriate interview questions. And so she just was so quick with it. She was like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about his wonderful Russian accent. I'm thinking about his characterization. I think he's adorable. He looks like a leading man. I'm excited to see where he goes next. And it just, Connor's story, like, you could, there was a lot of visual tension along with the, like, verbal tension, but it just, interviewers need to learn what is and is not okay to ask people. You know, like, we can stop asking what, like, unless somebody has vocalized that they love fashion, what if we calm down about, like, what are you wearing, woman? What's your next role, man next to her? You know, like, we need to think about what we're doing here. We need to think about, like, what if somebody is more than their body?
Yeah.
You know? What if, like, somebody portrays, like, nuance rather than just, like, their body on a screen? So I'm heated up about that because I'm just, like, I'm tired of us forgetting that humans have both bodies and souls, you know?
This is a highlight that Grace wanted to be inputted into the Studio Wesley universe. It has been inputted. I would also just like to, in thanking you, I would also like to add that I would love it if people didn't say much to me about Heated Rivalry, because I know I have not actually seen it, and no, I don't plan on seeing it. Again, appropriate questions, I think. Not in the same category of appropriateness, but it's close.
Which is like, no, right? And like, if somebody doesn't want to talk about the show, then like, what if we calmed down about it? Like, I know I made a little like haha joke at the beginning, right? So like, that's also something to think about. And also like, what if we just like respect people and their boundaries and like people's humanity and preferences and decisions? What would happen? What would happen?
I probably wouldn't be making my friends watch Sinners. I'm not there yet, but I'm gonna get there, Grace. I'm going to. Your highlight is.
And Derrick, you know what? I have my friend's HBO login, or maybe it's my own HBO. If you're watching, maybe it's my own login. But I have my friend's HBO login so that I can watch Heated Rivalry. And now this means I can also finally watch Sinners and be your friend again. So really, it's opening the door for a lot of things.
We have opened the door for so many things in the highlights this week. So, Grace, thank you for bringing that great highlight. Allison, I feel like you wanted to like jump in before I gave my highlight.
I mean, I was just going to poke fun at you, Derrick, so it's not super important, but I was going to be like, I don't know about Making, seeing as how you haven't gotten me to watch it yet.
Wow. I felt that.
Gagged.
Wow.
Thank you for giving me the space to come back on and say that.
I am gonna move to my highlight now. I want to thank my friend Neil, who is in the back teching, and I know Neil has my back, even as Neil is in the backstage.
Has Neil seen Sinners?
I think so. I'm pretty sure Neil has seen. Thank you. Yes, I know Neil has seen Sinners because Neil and I have talked about it. So, to my highlight this week, which is what we all should be doing, there's this new phenomenon. Okay, Grace, thanks for that highlight. There's this new phenomenon called Admin Week, where people are getting together with their laptops and snacks and some good mood music to get stuff done. Like, got to pay those bills that I've been putting off, and got to like work out my taxes that I haven't done in a year. And I need to like get through this email stuff. And it's so hard. I just want to say, I love the article is going to be posted in the chat, and you'll have access to it tomorrow or Tuesday, because I don't know when Allison's going to put, because tomorrow is a holiday. So
we're going to go with Tuesday. If it gets up tomorrow, it's cool, but we're going to go with Tuesday.
Okay. Just between today and Tuesday, between Monday and Tuesday, it'll all be on Instagram Live. But not Instagram Live, just Instagram. Sorry. But this article is talking about this new phenomenon called Admin Night. This, again, where people are getting together to just get stuff done. And can I just say, like, What an incredible idea. I think it probably comes from Gen Z, and particularly our Gen Z neurodivergent siblings. So thank you. There's this beautiful practice called body doubling that many of my neurodivergent friends do, and folks who love neurodivergent folks also do with them. I have found it to be very helpful. I need to do it more, but I feel like admin night is sort of in the tradition of the body doubling, where we get together and we just cheer each other on and doing the dull, mundane task of getting stuff done. And I just want to say, like, can we all do admin night? Like, let's maybe commit to like doing 12 admin nights in 2026. So that's like once a month. We could all just get together virtually or in person, whichever the case may be, and just be like, hey, it's good to see you. I'm going to do this thing that I haven't done for weeks that I need to get done. I think admin night's a great idea. Whoever came up with it, giving you your flowers early, very, very grateful. Definitely going to use that. In fact, people should, before they even go see Sinners, they should consider scheduling an admin night with friends and colleagues and neighbors. I would be okay with that. I would be okay with you delaying your Sinners viewing so that you could get an admin night. So, highlights of the week, so good. And now I think we might have a couple of announcements. It's kind of always Allison who gives it. No, because great, you often give the announcements too. Who's giving announcements tonight?
I am. I didn't tell you that. So it's typically me. If I'm not here, I give it to Grace, or if I'm hosting, I give it to Grace. But typically you'll see me up here. It's just the one. We have community group today at 6:45. We'd love to see you guys there. If you're in our close friends story, the link is already up on our story as well as in our Discord chat. But if you're not in either of those places, just send us a message and we can get you the link. But we'd love to have you hang out with us tonight.
I'm excited about community night. I'm going to talk a little bit about John 1. I feel good about what I'm going to say. So would love for you to join us. It's going to be really great. So we're going to keep moving in our show tonight. One of our regular cycling of segments is called Studio Wesley Cafe, and I'm really quite excited. So let's go directly to Studio Wesley Cafe. This is a segment where one of the members of our panel will bring an art piece, a film, or something they've seen on YouTube, or every now and then a really great book. And that's what's going to happen this evening. Allison, you've got a book for us to consider. So yes, Allison, take the mic.
Yeah, so I haven't done Studio Wesley Cafe before because a lot of the media that I tend to recommend to people is books, and I was like, I don't know how to do that in this platform. So I'm just gonna give like this is the book, these are like the themes of the book and what it's about, and then we can kind of talk about it. But my last read of 2025 was The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. And it probably was also my favorite read of 2025. Also, fun fact about The God of the Woods, I was reading it before this, and I want the credit for that because what I'm about to say, you guys are gonna be like, that's a very Allison thing to do. Taylor Swift put out her docuseries, and apparently, I haven't actually watched it, but apparently in the docuseries, people said that she was reading The God of the Woods. So already recommend the book, but also if you're a Taylor Swift fan, Taylor Swift read the book. But yeah, so The God of the Woods, it takes place in the Adirondacks. So there's a super wealthy family that lives there. They live on like, it's a whole big property, and on the property is like a summer camp and their house and like farms, and like there's just like a bunch of things that are happening on there. But at pre-book, well, actually, see, here's the really cool thing about the book. The really cool thing about the book is it switches back from different timelines and different years and different people and different, like every chapter is like a different, like there's like 5 or 6 different years that, or days or months that it goes back to. And then there's also a bunch of different voices telling the story. So like switches back and forth, which usually I don't love, but I love how this author did it. But like the start of the book is like the current time. So like pre the start of the book, their son disappears. I can't remember his age, but he disappears. And then at the start of the book, their daughter then disappears. And it's like 13 years later or something like that the daughter disappears. Like the daughter is born after the son disappears, and she's 13 in the book when she disappears. So she decides to go to the summer camp that's on their property. First time she's done that, the son never went to the summer camp because it's very much like part of the book's thing is that it talks about like the tensions between classes. So they're like the rich people who live on that property, but their kids don't go to the summer camp kind of thing. And so the daughter goes to the summer camp and goes missing. And so honestly, I've been super into thrillers lately, but part of the reason that I like bring up this book specifically, not only was it my favorite read last year, but also it's got like, there's a lot of themes in it that I think are hard to find well written in a book. Because I feel like sometimes books can try and sometimes they don't land, or sometimes books are just like, here's a cute little romance novel. So I love it when like you're reading something and I didn't even expect it. So like unexpectedly you get all of these themes. So it's got like grief in it. So like the mom very much is struggling to handle the fact that her son disappeared and they still don't know what happened to him 13 years later. Right. So she's using a lot of pills to cope. And like the father is kind of pushing her into that, but also is kind of abusive towards her because of that. And so there's got like those tensions in it as well. And then it's also like wealth versus the working class. So like the people who tend to work at the camp, or they're the town that's like the next town over that is seen as like the poor town. They don't have a ton of money. They're all of those things are the ones who are donating their time to this camp versus like the wealthy people who live on the land. And they like every year have a party that's like a week long where all of their rich friends come and hang out and the same property that the kids are going to summer camp on. And then also just like power dynamics too, because it's like they've got a missing kid. So like watching them try to like use their money for things, or like the way that they're, we don't have to speak to you about this, even though your kid's literally missing. So wouldn't you want to talk to them about everything? And just like, and then it's a thriller. So there's like the suspicious where you're like, okay, well, who did it? Why is what is the family trying to cover up? So it's like, it's just a really good thriller, but it also has so many good themes that I think were done in like a way that really makes you think about it. But yeah, so that's what I'm bringing this week. That was a lot of words.
Wow. I have questions, and some of them are like light and just like, oh, that's fun. And then some are like really thoughtful. So before I go in on my questions, Grace, responses to this beautiful piece that Allison has introduced us to.
Yeah, so I was just really excited about, as one of the neurodivergent people that you mentioned earlier, I have such a hard time following like timelines. If it's like not like super clear cut, I can't follow like certain story, like I can follow like certain themed storylines. I can't follow other themed storylines. So the fact that the book like movies that tend to do this just throw me off. I have no clue what's happening. But the fact that the book does it, is it like, I would guess that it's clearly laid out because it's in book format. Like that is so exciting to me. And that's just like a structure thing. That's not even like a content thing, but that's just really exciting.
Yeah, it's like chapter number, the name of the person whose perspective it is, and then the year is like there. And also with the year, it's like all of the years that you've read so far in the book, and then it bolds the one that you're in. So it's like you can kind of, it's like the best I've ever seen organize a timeline like this, because it's a crazy timeline. It bounces back and forth between like the time of the first disappearance, the times when the parents meet for the first time, because it's also the parents are from like I'm trying to think of the year that the parents, because the book takes place in 1975. Like the current year where the girl is missing is 1975. So when the parents meet, it's years before that, and it's very much like the wealthy families like putting their kids together, making them get married, like all of the things. So the timeline is beautiful the way they did it.
That's so exciting.
So Allison, is there a character in the book that you resonate with the most?
I thought about this, because usually I feel like there are pieces of books where I'm like, oh, that's so me. But I think this is one of the first books I've read in a while where there's not a single character that I resonated with. And I think that was helpful, because when I was reading it, I had a lot of things happening in my personal life. So I think it truly was like a step away from everything because I couldn't even find a character that I was like, oh, I feel like that. You know, like the daughter, you know, and I'm not going to like spoil how the book ends, but like the daughter, when you're interacting with her in the years before she disappears or the months before she disappears, like she very much is like my family doesn't understand me. And like, and that's not the case with me either. Right. But at the same time, like she does have some emotions sometimes. I think we all probably have around our families, but I think that's like the closest I would consider. But at the same, but yeah, there's not really like a super, like, I feel like this person.
Yeah. Okay. My next question, and Grace, I'm going to let you get in on one more before I ask my last question. My next question is, when The God of the Woods is made into a screenplay so that it can be a movie, when, not if, who are the headliners of this movie?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. That's Derrick. I don't know if my brain can handle this one.
Oh no! I thought it'd be. I actually thought it was a bit of a softball. My bad.
No, it's good. It's just, so the problem is there's so many characters that you're asking this question and I'm like fluttering, like which character do I start with and which person can play this character, and like going back and forth. I will say that like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, oh my gosh, I just forgot the name of the show. Oh no, it's Benedict Cumberbatch. And it's Melrose, something with Melrose and Patrick Melrose. I don't know if you've ever seen Patrick Melrose, but his character in Patrick Melrose, I feel like is probably fitting for like some of the family. So not that he would ever actually probably do a TV show ever again, but I feel like he could play some of the families very well. Patrick Melrose is not like a super well-known show. But it's like 6 movie-length episodes. It's a mini series and it's incredible. 10 out of 10. Not what we're talking about, but 10 out of 10. So I feel like he could do some of like the storylines of like the family, like in that the wealth and the secrets and the hidden things and like the ways that they kind of just push their way into getting what they want out of every situation. So I feel like that's one. But I don't know.
Oh, that's helpful. That's helpful. Grace, do you have an additional question?
Yeah. So, and this is also like, well, I guess I have 2, but I'll just do the one for now. What would be like? Do you have a favorite scene or like a favorite thing that happens or like a favorite like way that the author wrote a certain something? You know, like that little snippet that you're like, this.
Yeah. So well, first of all, without saying too much, like the reveal, because you find out what happens to the son in the book. And that like reveal and like how they go about it. And then also I'm usually really good at guessing who did it. Not a clue. Not a single clue who did it the whole time. And so like that reveal in itself, I think was really good. And it's because they pull in this, there's one character that they mention him the whole time, but you never see him in the present. You never see him. Nobody ever sees him, but he's talked about as if he's still alive. And so like the way that his story intertwines with then how they like figure out what happened to the son and like the reveals there are just probably the best part of the whole book. Because I usually can guess things and I couldn't guess it this time, which is why this book was one of my top books in last year.
Okay. Grace, ask your second question because I'm going to land the plane with my question.
Are you somebody that rereads books? And if you are, then is this a book that you think you would like pick up and read again? Or
Absolutely.
is it one that you're like, okay, I did it and I'm done?
Yeah, there's 2 types of rereads for me. There's like background reads where I'll like listen to an audiobook of a book I've already read. And then there's like, I'm going to sit and read it again. I would absolutely just sit and read this book again. Absolutely. It's so good.
Okay. Allison, this one, I don't think this one's going to break your brain, but here we go. You know me really well. Like, you know Derrick really well.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell me why I need to read this book, why Derrick needs to read this book.
Ooh, okay. So we're going back to Derrick Promises.
Okay.
I think the way that like there's a lesson to learn from every single character in the book is really appealing. Like, I don't think there's a single character in the book that you don't pull some sort of like wisdom or knowledge from, even if that's something negative, like I'm not going to do that ever, or like, wow, they did this thing in this way. And I think that's absolutely not how it should have been done. But like, it's the way that like the mom experiencing grief, you like see her journey of like starting from like, what can I do to help myself, to like not getting the help she needs, to like ending up being addicted to drugs and just taking a drug every time she thinks of her son and gets upset, And so like, I think there's something to pull from every character. And because it's written from different perspectives, you're always hearing from all the characters. And so I think that would be my reasoning behind having to read it.
Well, I just want to say, Allison, someone named Derrick Scott III just downloaded a book called The God of the Woods to his Audible account. Just did it just now. Like, so we'll see, what happens with that. But that gotta mean something,
This is the first Derrick Promises where there was an action taken immediately.
And books are a little more sensible in that respect.
Yeah. I have not listened to the audiobook, so I do not know what it sounds like. Sometimes you listen to an audiobook and you're like, why do you sound like this in the book? Mm-hmm. Don't know what the quality of the audiobook is, but the book itself, incredible.
Yeah. If it's a person with a British accent, it's gonna be great. Otherwise, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. Allison, thank you for bringing such a beautiful contribution to Studio Wesley Cafe. I'm looking forward to starting to listen to The God of the Woods. I hope that everybody else will do the same. This is, I think, going to be linked somewhere, somehow, so people can connect with it, access it.
I'm currently trying to remember if I link the Studio Wesley Cafes. We can. It can be in the stories after the highlights.
It may be time. Maybe time to add Studio Wesley Cafe to this world. Yeah. So with that, friends, what a great segment. We're going to take a few seconds of a soul break, and then we'll come back to finish up. Well, it's been a really good night, and I'm really grateful to my panel. As we are getting ready to close up, just want to reflect for just a couple of minutes on a passage of scriptures. John, the Gospel of John, chapter 1, starting at verse 19. And so this is an interesting moment where John the Baptist, he's with individuals who are at the moment his disciples. They're going to eventually become Jesus' disciples, but at this point in the story, they are disciples of John. They are students of John the Baptist. And John the Baptist is, in a sense, trying to now point them to Jesus. John has been preaching in the wilderness, baptizing, been speaking truth to power. And John's got a reputation. It's good for some people. It's not so good for other people. But like, John's been doing his thing. He has been stepping into the space, and he has been raising his voice. He's been doing the thing he's been called to do. But he's with this moment with his disciples. In this moment with his disciples, he says to them, yeah, I'm doing some stuff, but Jesus is actually the one. Like, Jesus is actually the one. And there's a lot we can pull from this text, and I do invite you to read it. It's today's text for the second Sunday after Epiphany, the gospel text. But I'm inspired by the fact that John seems to know who he is and who he isn't. John knows that he's got gifts, he's got a story to play, he's got a role to play in the story, he's a part of the story, but he's not the whole story. And he loses nothing by pointing his disciples to someone who John would say is the greater one. And so this is the encouragement. And this is, we're in the new year. For many of us, we are sort of in this space of Epiphany. That was 2 weeks ago, Epiphany Sunday. Some of us still sort of try to carry some of those thoughts with us for a few more weeks. And I wonder if we could have our eyes opened to the revelation of who we are and also who we aren't. The revelation of the gifts that we bring to the table, and also the realization that we don't have all the gifts. The ability to say, this is who I am, and I'm going to stand in my integrity. And because I'm going to stand in my integrity, I'm going to be clear about who I'm not, the things that I don't do well, the things that I can't bring, the person that I can't be. And I say that because I know that I am a person that even at this stage of my life, I'm still figuring out both who I am and who I am not. I'm still figuring out the ways that God has gifted me, and I need to bring those gifts to the table. But then there are things that God has not given me. There are gifts that God has not given me, but I feel like I still need to overfunction. I still need to pose. I still need to act as if I am someone that I'm not. And I just want to invite us to take freedom to be who we are and to let go of the things that we are not. And that might even look like letting go of the things that no longer serve us, as some might have said. That it may mean being just really clear, sometimes even just coming out, not necessarily around sexuality, but coming out around the ways that we see the world, coming out in the ways even that our brains and our emotions function. And so that's my encouragement. Like, let's take a cue from John the Baptist in John chapter 1. I know who I am, and I know who I'm not. And I'm going to stand in my integrity, and I'm going to bring all that I can bring. But actually, it's that person over there. They're the person that we're all waiting for. And I think that's a really beautiful place to be. And so with that, I hope you'll be encouraged with those words. We'll talk a little bit more about that in community group. Also, want to thank this great panel, who's always awesome, Allison and Grace. Friends, always a good time here at Studio Wesley Live. I look forward to seeing you next week. We'll be here, YouTube Live, 6 p.m. Sunday nights. Cannot wait to talk to you about it. Friends, have a great week. We love you. And yes, you are deeply loved by God, and nothing could ever separate you from God's love. Have a good night, friends. We'll see you.